Welcome to the Modern Day Mom Chat. I'm really excited for today's discussion. My guest is Akosua Opoku. She is a registered nurse and she's also a healthcare consultant and she is a mom of 5. So today's discussion is all about her journey as a mom. And I'm excited for you all to hear what she has to say and to also learn from her experience. Akosua, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. So before you got on, I introed you. I let everyone know who you are, what you do.
Okay.
But just to introduce yourself again. Who is Akosua and what do you do? Your career path.
Well, Akosua does so many things. I am a nurse by profession. I went to nursing school. Been a nurse for about almost 19 years now. And then about 8 years ago, I just got tired of life in America. So I came to Ghana. Came to Ghana with a job perspective, but it didn't work out. So I had to kind of regroup myself and figure out what I was going to do next. And that time I came, everybody was into beauty and those things, but I wasn't doing that at first. I actually came here and was wholesaling like household items, like groceries, like kids' foods, juices.
Oh, wow.
So I just got into a lot of businesses just to get by,
right,
and figure out what I was going to do. And then during the time of trying to find out what I was going to do, I kind of noticed there was like a gap in the makeup industry here in terms of people who are bringing the stuff here to sell for people. Like people couldn't get real authentic things here. So that's how Beauty Mark was born here in Ghana.
Okay, nice.
But otherwise, that was kind of where I kind of started my life here in Ghana, and then also getting into my health stuff. I just kind of started like, oh, what else can I do here in terms of nursing?
Right.
What can I do here in terms of being a nurse here? And I definitely couldn't work bedside nursing. I'm done with that.
Right.
So I got my license here and everything.
Right.
You had enough of that. So I got my license. Yeah, I did my license exams here in Ghana. They made me take the whole test over again. Wow. And I did training at Ridge Hospital for like 6 months.
Nice.
Working bedside. Yeah, all the units from the theater to the floors, everywhere. Wow. To the polyclinic. And that was kind of different. Did that for 6 months.
Okay.
And then I kind of been kind of doing my own little consulting thing here and there. People call me, companies will call me, they need somebody to speak about a product or about a health issue. So I do a lot of speaking engagements.
Okay.
And then I started my own little home care agency, which I'm doing now.
Oh, nice.
But that's about it. I mean, that's Akosua. And that's my work side. Then.
And you have 5 kids.
That's my work side. And I have 5 kids. So when I came to Ghana, I came here with 3 kids.
Okay, so we're gonna get into that. I want us to first of all start off with, you had your first child at 21, 19 years ago. Like when you started your...
I was actually 20.
20.
Yeah, I was 20. I was 19 when I got pregnant. And
you gave birth.
I had her when I was 20. Yeah, I had her when I was 20.
Now, 19-year-old, what were your thoughts when you found out you were pregnant? And then what were the reactions of those around you?
Wow. So, 19 years old, pregnant. I just didn't know what to do because, with the parents that we have, our Ghanaian parents, my first issue was the disappointment. I felt like I disappointed them. Say that at that moment when I was going through it, something just told me that I wanted to have my baby. Right. I did not want to get rid of it, which was an option. Right. I was 19 years old. I was a sophomore. In college.
Right.
And then my boyfriend was also a sophomore in college. So, we were both in school, fortunately our parents knew each other, but, that wasn't, that helped. But but that's not what they wanted for us.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, it helped that the family knew each other, but that's not what they wanted for us. So both sides were very disappointed. Right. And, you know, it was very hard trying to break the news to my mom at that time.
I can imagine.
And I'm just going back to that day that I told my mom. I think she cried.
Oh.
And the first thing she said was, "I'll help you get rid of it." That's what she said.
Right, because
she was not for having a baby. No,
exactly.
She was not for having a baby. Exactly. She said, "I'll help you get rid of it. You are in school. You have to focus in school. You cannot do this." She didn't even think about, you know,
your feelings.
No, she didn't think about that. She didn't even think about maybe like the stigmatism of being young and having a baby. She just said, "You are in school. You cannot have a baby." That's the first thing she said. Right. And I said, "But I'm not getting rid of this baby. I don't want to get rid of it." I was like, God spoke to me and God said not to get rid of this baby. Mm-hmm. And she looked at me and she was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I don't know. For some reason, I have a feeling that I shouldn't get rid of the baby. So I'm not going to do it." Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that was it.
Now, how did your life change once you found out you were becoming a mom? And how did you adjust to this change of, okay, motherhood? I'm now gonna be a mom. I am now a mom after giving birth to your daughter.
So right after giving birth, so I had her in August. Mind you, I'm a student. So I had her in August, and in September, school starts.
You went to school while you were pregnant. You went to your class.
I went to school. I went to my classes while I was pregnant, and then she was due in August. So I had her in August, and I went back to school September. She was only a month when I went back to school.
Wow.
Yes. And lucky for me, my mom, at the moment, at the time she realized that this was my decision, she helped me by getting my grandmother from Ghana to come to America. I was in America then. So my grandmother came to help me with the newborn, you know, so I had help. That's why I was able to go back to school right away. Right. But, you know, my grandmother said something to me when I first came home with the baby. She was like, "You know, I'm going to help you to go to school, but when you come home from school, this is your baby." Yeah. So the night times when the baby was up, everything, just me. I remember it was nice that I fell asleep with her in my hand studying. I even remember dropping her one time in the couch because I fell asleep and she was in my arm and she fell out my arm because I was studying. And I fell asleep.
Right.
And, you know, it was pain. Let me tell you something. It was very painful. I went through something that nobody probably knew, but I cried the first 3 months of my pregnancy every day. Wow. Not because of I was feeling sad, but I just felt like, what am I doing? And I kept on questioning myself. Am I making the right decision? Right. What am I doing? What am I going to do? Like, what's going to happen between me and this guy? Like, is he going to marry me? Is he not going to marry me? Like, what's going to happen? Like, I was just thinking so many things. Like, at that time, he was supportive, but then you could tell, you know, he's a young guy. He was probably, I think, 21, 22 at that time.
Okay.
And, you know, he's a young guy, so he wants to be out there doing what he has to do. He doesn't want to be tied down with a baby. Yeah. So, you know, I kept on questioning myself, like, am I doing the right thing? And I cried every day. But when the baby came, I was okay. You know, I was okay. But it was just hard, like juggling school and the baby. That was tough. Like, you know, yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing it. Like, I always say, like, I big up women who have been through that, because I cannot imagine. I
can never imagine.
No, my best friend, she had her first child at 17. And I saw her firsthand, you know, and I was like, girl. So round of applause for you. The fact that you still stayed in school and you became a mom, and you even though it was a struggle, it was difficult, you balanced it and you did what was best for you and your child.
Yes, that's definitely something that I feel like I owed it to the child, because the child didn't ask to be here. I brought the child here. Right. So whatever I had to do to make sure that child felt special, even though it came under different circumstances, I just wanted that child to feel that way. I never wanted the child to feel, oh, like, you know, you're a burden, I can't handle it. And that made me work harder. I worked harder just to make it that way.
Right.
You know, that definitely made me work harder. I would tell you that, like, I made sure I was in school. I got all straight A's on my classes. I was trying to do my best to finish school so that I can go into the workforce. I can support the child.
Right. Now, 20
so
years.
So definitely, yeah, like that motivated me.
Sorry, say it again.
I said that motivated me.
A great motivation, because now 20 years later, you are a mom of 5.
Yes.
Your oldest is how old? 19?
She'll be 20 this year.
And your youngest is under 1.
Yes.
Now, what has the past years been like blooming as a woman, raising children in different age groups?
Oh, Lord. So I will tell you that definitely my life has been a roller coaster. Okay. It hasn't been all nice and easy because it went from relationship to separation back. So it's been a lot. And somebody always asks me, people always ask, like, did you plan to have your kids this like 5 years apart? Like that's the trend. Like my kids are like, these like 5 years apart until you get to the last 2. Right. And I said, no, I didn't plan my life. I didn't plan that. My life happened. You know, I'm not a planner of life. Like I'm just kind of like take everything easy by the gut. Right. So I didn't plan it that way. It just happened that way. But it's definitely been hard because after the first one, 5 years later, I had another one.
Right.
And when I had the second one, I was doing my master's then too. So I was also pregnant and in school. Wow. So I guess, you know, I think I stretched myself maybe. I stretched myself so thin. So I was also pregnant and in school for the second child. Doing my master's. I remember coming home from the hospital and going to take an exam the next day. Wow. So I've been one of those crazy people that try to be superwoman, maybe try to do everything. But, you know, sometimes I feel like I have to kind of step back and relax. But it's been my kind of trend since I was a kid. It's been my drive. So I just keep going and going and going. And now with 5 kids 20 years later, now I'm like, I think when I got older, I'm like, wait a minute, what are you doing? Because the 2 little kids are very close together.
Right.
She's a 2-year-old and a baby, and they are a lot of work. And I'm at that point where I'm like, what am I doing? Right.
But they're your great blessings.
Yes, they are. Definitely.
Now,
I think I wouldn't redo my life. I don't know what I would do differently.
Right.
If I was to kind of go back, I always say if I was to go back 20 years from now, the only thing I might have done differently may be knowing the career path I wanted to take, because I had so many plans for my career. Like I wanted to work for the UN and travel the world. And that never happened.
Right.
So maybe I would have, definitely. I'll say that if you have an opportunity and if you can prevent certain things, I would not recommend this for anybody. You know, I feel as though that's the path that God gave me for my life. But definitely it was a learning path because I could have made different choices to prevent certain things from happening.
Right.
Yes. So definitely I always advise young people, you know, that was my path, but it was a difficult path that maybe if somebody else was to go through it, they wouldn't have come out the way I came out. I overcame it.
True.
But not everybody can overcome it.
True. Now, on the days where you are feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling like, how am I going to continue? This is too much for me. How do you deal with those feelings? Because every mom experiences it, whether you have 1 child or 10 children. We have those days where we're like, this is too much. Like, I
just go in my room and cry. That's what I actually do, though. I just go in my room, and as I'm looking at them, I just start crying. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Right.
I mean, I do that. I'm not going to lie. Like, sometimes you have to cry. I cry. And my kids say my older kids said they never see me crying before because I'm one of those people where I could be going through the worst days, but my kids will never know it.
Yeah. Right.
Like that's how I am. Sometimes my older my older daughter who's 19, she will say, why are you over here talking to me about something, but you're going through this? And I said, because that's me. I don't feel like I need to share my emotions with my child.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So that's something I've done a good job at. Maybe it's not good for me, but I've done a good job protecting them.
Kids.
Yes, protecting them from my emotions, and I try to be strong for them. But I mean, when I have my difficult days, I guess sometimes, I kind of like get into like my little ball. Maybe I might be a little bit down. Not sleep because you can't sleep the whole day, but I might spend the day kind of like in bed. Right. I'll feed a child and just go lay down. I've been through days where I fed my baby and just go lay right back in bed and I won't even eat. So I think that happens to a lot of women. Maybe they go through a period of, maybe I'll say depression. I might feel depressed sometimes.
Yeah.
And just kind of give myself a reality check, like, you still got to get going.
Right.
I think it's normal. I don't think there's any mother who doesn't go through that.
No, we all do. What would you say has been your greatest accomplishment as a mom?
My greatest accomplishment as a mom,
mm-hmm.
just making it through.
mm-hmm.
I think my greatest accomplishment is just making it through, and I try to instill, in my children, like the value of education, because I felt like if I did it with a second child while in school, did my master's, and that didn't prevent me from quitting and delaying and taking the semester off, then you have no excuse.
Right.
So my kids know that when it comes to school, I don't play. I don't play when it comes to school. Like, I have like lessons in the house. Before this coronavirus lockdown happened, my 9-year-old, she comes home from school, she does her homework, and I give her extra work. Like, she has this routine where, she's so studious, because I don't play around with my schoolwork and my education piece. So I always tell my kids, I don't care what's going on in your life. I don't care if your best friend don't like you, you don't have any friends at school. I don't care what's going on.
Yes. Your
schoolwork comes first. So I think my greatest accomplishment as a mother is that, I see that in all my children, they have a good sense of keeping themselves straight when it comes to school. I don't have I haven't had any experience with a child that had trouble at school or anything like that.
Okay.
No. So for that, I'm proud of them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How do you make time for each of your children without one feeling that mommy's neglecting me? Why is it all about you? Mom. How are you able to make sure every child is heard and every child is seen?
That is hard, I would say. Mm-hmm. Because, right now I have with me every day 9, 2, and 7 months. So the older ones definitely are feeling neglected.
Right. But they had all the time with you. You had the time with them, and
Yeah, so I tell them, like, you guys are old now. But I think, that's the thing. So when they get to teenage years, they don't want to be around you anymore anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that works out. Teenagers want to be with their friends. They want to be on the phone. They want to be on social media. So they're okay. They don't want to, even when they're around me, they're like doing their own thing. So definitely I've been saved by the teenage years.
Right.
But the younger ones trying to spread their attention around, it does get hard, because I have the 2-year-old, she loves attention. So she's always on me, around me, pulling all the attention, even from the baby.
Yeah.
So that is hard. I try. I'm not the best at it. And my 9-year-old complains that, I don't give her enough attention, but it's hard because my attention is with the baby and the 2-year-old. So that is hard. But what I try to do is maybe when watching a show together, I watch a show she likes together. Like, my 9-year-old likes to watch TV with me. So I make time and watch TV with her, just to kind of get some time to, relate to each other.
Right.
So that's when we have some mommy me time, because she loves TV and I love TV too. So when I'm free and I'm winding down, I watch TV with her. So that's what I do.
Now, during COVID, all the kids are home. And it's still back to the balancing. You're doing the homeschooling with some of the kids. Obviously, the older kids are doing their own thing. They, because they're old enough.
Yeah.
How are you truly keeping sane? Because they are, like, before, it's like some of the kids have gone to school, so you have maybe the youngest, but now they're all home from morning to night.
Night.
The next day is the same. How are you still being able to balance all your businesses while...
Well, sometimes I tell them I'm going to run away. I'm going to run away from home and not come back.
Yeah.
But listen, I have no schedule right now. I'll be honest. I'm a mess. I really don't have a schedule. I'm not one of those. I don't have it all together.
Right.
I kind of sleep when I can sleep and wake up when I wake up. And I don't have them on a good schedule. The 9-year-old has her own alarm. She wakes up and she gets online and does join into her schoolwork.
Perfect.
So I have raised her to be independent.
Very good.
Yes, because mommy is too busy.
Yeah.
Mommy is too busy. So she's an independent 9-year-old.
Nice.
She gets up, gets on her tablet, logs into her school, does her work even before I wake up. By the time I wake up, she's already done the work.
Perfect.
So she's really good. She's not a typical 9-year-old. She's an adult.
Right.
She can make her own food. She gets up, she wants breakfast, she wants French toast, she makes her own French toast. She wants eggs, she makes her own eggs. I showed her how to turn on the stove.
Oh, so she's good to go.
So
she's good.
So listen, because sometimes I'm exhausted being up at night with the baby, so I can't get up at 7 o'clock, clean, make breakfast. I don't do that. That's not my schedule, honestly. I don't have a schedule. I don't have any help currently.
Right.
I don't have any house help. I don't have anybody right now. So it's just me.
Right.
So I pretty much get up, feed everybody, wash everybody up. And then within that afternoon time, I kind of do my work. And my work involves maybe either I go to the shop if I want to drag all of them there. Okay. Sometimes I drag all of them there with me. I haven't been going there much because we've been closed.
Right.
We've just been doing deliveries. So maybe once a week I might go there to just kind of like see what's there, see what I need to send out.
Okay.
And that's it. And then at home, maybe if I'm buying stuff for the shop or I'm doing stuff with my nursing work.
Right.
The nursing work has also been a bit slow because right now nobody really wants anybody in their house.
Exactly.
Yeah, so when it comes to caregiver work, it's been a bit slow because of that. Because I think families have been chipping in and taking care of their own older population. Yeah. So that has been slow. So what I've been doing with this time is kind of building myself up and building my brand up when it comes to the nursing work and my personal speaking engagements, like building that up. I've been on TV maybe twice so far. Okay. To talk about the coronavirus and what to do. Okay. And that was with a company I was representing. So I do have those opportunities where I can get some speaking engagements. But I just pretty much been home just dealing with the kids.
Definitely. Now, Akosua, what advice would you give to any mom who is going through it at this moment? Because it's a lot.
It's a lot, you know.
Would you give her?
I think that at the end of the day, they are your children, and nobody knows how to manage your children more than you do. So as a mother, if a schedule works for you, go ahead. Do your schedule, do your 8 o'clock this, 9 o'clock that. I'm not a schedule person. Forgive me, I'm not. So I just pretty much kind of go with the day, however it ends up. If I teach my 2-year-old at 7 p.m., that's when I have time to teach her. So we do some ABC, some coloring, and that's fine. That's when I can get it done. It's hard to keep an attention of a 2-year-old for more than 30 minutes. So my advice is just, I think we're all going through it, and I'm like, oh my God, how do teachers do it? But just one day at a time. This is going to be a kind of a new normal for a while. Like I think we're going to spend the whole summer with kids at home, and the rest of the school year is already, is done. So at least for the next 6 months, we're going to be doing this. So I believe that it's just making the best out of it. Make the best out of it. You know, you do what works for you. If the schedule works for you, do the schedule. If your kids are the type that need a schedule, good. My kids are pretty much okay with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever you can do, you go ahead and do it. And it all depends on the kids' ages too. You know, I have a baby and a 2-year-old, so that's a little bit different than somebody who has like school-age children.
Yes.
Who need to be up at a certain time. And thank God, my school-age child is very well disciplined. That she sets her alarm, she gets up, she does her work, and when I wake up at 9 o'clock, she's like, I'm already done my work. I'm like, okay,
that's it.
You know, but not every child is like that.
Some children need someone on top of them, like all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thankfully, like I was telling you, I have raised my kids to be a certain way that they are well disciplined when it comes to their schoolwork.
Yes.
So, because of what I know, I have too much on my plate with the kids, with work. I need them to be disciplined in some areas, which is you got to do your own work. You got to sit there and discipline yourself. So I feel as though the advice is just, you know, whatever works for you and your family, you know, you do that. And, you know, sometimes you have to play around with things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to call my mom over here to help me because I just can't do it.
It's a lot.
Sometimes I call my mom. I was like, can you just come over for an hour? I just need a break. I just want to take a nap.
Yeah.
You know, I do that. Like I was like, can you just come over so I can take a nap? Because nobody wants to take a nap. And I'm tired.
Yeah.
But I can't do it anymore.
At least you're vocal and you're able to call your mom and say, listen, I need a break. Can you please come and help me? Because I need to breathe.
and that's how you have to be. You know, you have to be that way. You have to be vocal, and you know, sometimes some people are not vocal, and then they're over here suffering, and you know, they become depressed.
Yes.
But you know, I'm the type, I'll say, you know, I just need a break. I just want to go out, even to get some fresh air.
Without the kids.
Now that we can, without the kids, you know. So if it's just, you know, going to the bank without a child, I'm okay. Like, I just want to get out of this house without a child. I'm okay. Because it involves a lot just trying to leave the house with 3 children.
I agree.
Especially now, you can't even take them anywhere because you have to wear a mask and
the young kids don't want to keep the masks on. Like Aaron, I took him for just a little walk the other day. He's been in the garden, but he hasn't been out. So I said, let's go for a walk. He was happy to wear his mask. The next day I was like, okay, Aaron, do you want us to go for a walk? He was like, but I'm not wearing the mask. I was like, then you can't go outside.
Well, that's what I tell my 9-year-old. She wants to go out, but I was like, where are you going to go? So apart from just being in the compound of the house, they don't go anywhere either. And trust me, I didn't even bother with the mask for them because I said, you're not going to go anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. Aaron, he's literally he's been in the house since before lockdown. His school closed down, so it was already like it's the American system, so they already had the heads up. So he's just been here.
Wow.
But, it's not easy, but we would definitely, this too shall pass. As it is, motherhood is a journey it's a roller coaster journey. I always say, like, we have our best days, we have our worst days, but it's a beautiful journey nonetheless.
It's a beautiful journey. And you know what? I will tell you that I look back and I look at my 19-year-old now, and you know, I would never take anything back. That was the plan that my God had for my life. Like,
definitely,
I don't take anything back. I look at her and I talk to her like, make sure you don't make the mistakes that I made.
Right.
But definitely, things do happen. I mean, you can prevent it, but you can't prevent all things.
Right.
But I just say, you know, I don't regret my decision. She's a beautiful child, and she's grown up to be a lovely young lady. Yeah. So I'm truly blessed.
Definitely. And you're truly blessed because happy belated birthday. You turned 40, and I don't know if you're going to bottle up whatever you use to look fabulous and to stay looking fabulous, because you look amazing.
Thank you. I'm happy to see what this 40th journey is going to be like. Because, you know, when you're 20, you're like, when am I ever going to be 40 years old? It's so far away. But now I'm actually 40, so I don't know. I'm ready for it now. Let's see what happens.
Akosua, thank you so much for taking time out. I know it's not easy to take time out to chit chat. I want to thank you again so much for taking time out today to be a part of the Modern Day Mom Chat.
Thank you. Thank you. I love what you're doing.
Some of our products, so I'll definitely, once we get them in, I will send them your way as a gratitude, appreciation, because you always hold me down from post-pregnancy.
Oh, I love it.
Breast, Modern Day Mom, and I'm very grateful. So thank you so much.
I love what you're doing. I wish I could do what you're doing because I just don't have the time. So I applaud you for doing it because it takes a lot of time and dedication to do what you're doing. So definitely, I'm here to support you whenever you need me to support you.
Thank you so much.
You're doing a great job.
Hugs and kisses to the kids. And
thanks.
Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll definitely talk.
Thank you, dear. All right.
Akosua.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.